Alright, it's been a while since I've posted an update on the main display, so this is it at the moment. There's been a fair few changes in here since my last video. I'm actually also recording in with an adjusted white balance, so hopefully we can just get better representation of the colours. So I'll go from left to right, because that's probably the most exciting way to do it. This over here is my leather and the rock. That was over down there in that bottom right hand corner for ages, but it was clear that the leather was not getting enough flow down there or enough light, and it seems to really enjoy both high flow and high light, so he's now at the top. Sarcophyton, which I've had for forever, he's just coming back. I cleared a whole bunch of these pallies, and in the process released a fair bit of palitoxin into the water, so a whole bunch of corals haven't been looking great for a while. I definitely won't be doing that again. My little Dallas frag is looking good. A little bit of growth from him, and also starting to encrust the epoxy. A lot of it, the tips have gone white, and that's happened on both of my Dallas frags. They both seem to be coming back now. I've actually turned down my LEDs because I think it might have been that the light was too high. Water parameters are close to perfect, so it wasn't alkalinity burning or anything like that. So down here, my red morph has actually split into 4 total now. Well, maybe even 5. There's another one there that's just springing up. And my striped morph down there has not split. Hopefully he does soon, because I really like that guy. So my morphs down here, including these 2 guys, which just have not been coming out for months, and recently they've just started showing their faces again. I think from last time I did not have this nice big Euphilia in the middle, so that guy will go blue. One thing that's missing from the tank, if you noticed, is that my angel is gone, removed because he was nipping all my Euphilias, and so these guys have only really started coming out again sort of in the last couple of weeks. So his colour, this guy's colour, he's normally blue, he went very grey for a long time, and he's now only just starting to get some colour back. And this is my other Euphilia that was at the top of the tank, also coming back now after spending a fair bit of time hidden. I also have a new Cataphilia over here, which is looking really, really good, and a beautiful orange fungia down the bottom here, who's just super healthy. We get really nice long polyp extension on him. At the top we have 2 new SPS, little bird's nest in front. The bird's nest is really interesting. Actually, we had, after the palitoxin was released, a whole bunch of its tips were bleached, and we had algae grow on the tips, and you can see a couple of the tips still there with algae on them. But the very long branch to the left, half of that was algae, half of it was bleached, and the coral has actually fought back and taken back that branch again, which I've never seen happen before. So I'm leaving the other bits with the tiny bit of algae on them, and I'm watching over time. I've been taking photos of it, progress photos. I'm watching the coral actually fight back. Really, really interesting. This acro at the top is nuts. This guy has the most insane polyp extension you can see, and he actually had polyps out in the plastic bag from the aquarium. So before I even put him in the tank, while I was still acclimatizing him, he had most of his polyps out. So he was already super happy before he was even in the tank. He also already has nice long like growth extensions in the very tops of the branches, which is great. And I'm also seeing encrusting at the bottom over the epoxy, which is awesome, because he's only been in the tank for probably 4 weeks or 5 weeks or so. So that growth is fantastic. In the middle we have a beautiful tricolour acro frag. colour of that is only just starting to come back now. It was really nice and coloured up before I did my pally snipping, and so that's starting to come back again. And behind that is a little bird's nest, which is nice and green, but he's the one that suffered the most after the pally snipping, with almost all these polyps gone, and he is actually starting to come back now. But both these corals are starting to look healthy again. The tricolour in front doesn't have polyp extension. Polyps don't actually come out a great deal in this one, but he is already encrusting the epoxy, and I think I accidentally turned off my camera just then, so sorry about that. So he's encrusting the epoxy at his base already, and the colour's coming out, so I think he's actually quite healthy and happy again. Just because his polyps aren't coming out doesn't mean that he's not very cool. Over here the Xenia is going nuts, but also getting knocked back a lot by the 3 crisper anemones, which have just grown so much lately. We've just had, I've just actually bought a 2-foot cube, which is going to be put behind this tank in the room behind, and that 2-foot cube is going to house my anemones, which will come out of this tank because I am scared of them moving over slowly and starting to eat the other stuff in the tank. And up here are the beautiful red actus, which are starting to spread now that I've removed that rock that was in front of them. The other thing to note is also, since the angel is gone, just in there you can see my green star polyps starting to grow again, and there's another batch of them just here, just up the back there. So that's good to see them coming back as well. All in all, since the angel's gone, a lot of the tank has looked much more healthy, and things are just starting to come out of their shell, pardon the pun. It's getting really good to see. Oh, and lastly, we have 3 new chromis. I've never had chromis before, but it's so nice to have a couple of fish that stay out of the rocks and also that school. They're beautiful. We did actually have 5 of them. 2 of them went missing. 2 of them were actually taken by my brittle star, my massive brittle star, but I actually was able to reach into the tank and save them from him. And I've since put him in the weir, just over there behind the overflow, and he will also go in the anemone tank. He's still perfectly fine. I just don't want him eating any more of my fish. But those 2 that I saved from him did survive. They survived for a couple of days and they got better. The big one right there, he's actually one of the ones that was taken. And then I lost 2 and I don't know where they went. So they may have just been taken by an anemone, or they may have been taken by something else that's alive in here. But yeah, all in all good. So parameters, just really quickly: magnesium's around 1250, calcium's around 500, alkalinity is 9, salinity is around 1027, so just a smidge too high, and I'm fixing that with water changes. pH is roughly 8.2. So yeah, and phosphates are 0.15-ish, and nitrates undetectable. So water quality is really good. The issues that I'm having with my little frags over there, I do think, is from the lights. The lights are actually right down on top of the water. They're like 3 inches above the water. That's why you can see the big gaps in the light coverage. One of my projects for the coming weeks or coming months is to build a new light rack so that I can get them about 8 inches off the water. Then I can turn them up and have a more even light distribution across the tank. Yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoy. Please subscribe or leave comments. That's it. Thanks.